Welcome, everyone. Walking into a high stakes room, maybe it's a big interview, a courtroom, or just your very first day on the job, it can feel like a lot of pressure. And stepping into the world of professional dress, well, sometimes it looks like this intimidating fortress of rules, right? Like it's designed to keep people out. But we are here today to completely break that down. Welcome to This Explainer. I am so excited to guide you through this because once you understand a few basic concepts, you're going to see just how accessible this all really is. Check out this quote from our source material. The suit is a system of parts plus a handful of codes. I absolutely love this because it reveals a deeply empowering secret. The business suit, it's not some elite mystery. It's literally just a highly learnable system of habits. You just have to learn the codes once. And when you do, you carry a massive advantage into every important room for the rest of your life. You get to wear the suit instead of letting the suit wear you. So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the anatomy of the jacket. Then we'll move into the button codes, look at styles and regional cuts, discuss colors for the suit, and finally, break down the difference between a suit, a blazer, and a sport coat. All right, let's jump right into step one, the anatomy of the jacket, basically the blueprint. To master the suit, we first need to learn the basic physical vocabulary. That way, you know exactly what you're looking at when you walk into a store or look in a mirror. Let's start right at the front, the lapel. A lapel is simply the folded flap of cloth on the front of a jacket or coat, sitting right there below the collar. It rests directly on your chest, making it the most prominent feature of the jacket. It really sets the entire tone for your look, which is exactly why we're starting here. And there are three fundamental lapel shapes to know. First up is the notch lapel. Notice how there's literally a step or a notch cut right into the fabric. This is your most versatile, safest, everyday bet for business. Next, we have the peak lapel, where the points angle sharply upward toward the shoulders. It's much more formal, very assertive. Finally, there's the shawl lapel, which is just a smooth, unbroken curve. The shawl lapel lives almost entirely on tuxedos, so we definitely want to keep that one out of the daily office. When in doubt, go with a notch. Now, let's look inside the jacket. The internal construction dictates how the jacket breathes and molds to your body. A full canvas jacket has an inner layer of horsehair canvas. It's the absolute best quality, but definitely the priciest. On the other end, a fused jacket is glued together inside. It's the cheapest, but it can actually bubble over time. Then you have the half canvas. This is your smart value sweet spot. It has canvas in the chest, giving you great shape without that top-tier price tag. If you ever pinch the fabric on the chest and feel two distinct layers floating, it's canvassed. If it feels stiff and glued together, it's fused. Let's spin around to the back hem of the jacket. Those slits at the bottom are called vents. Imagine looking at the back of the jacket. A no-vent jacket means the back is totally closed. It's sleek, but it pulls tight across you when you sit down. A center vent has exactly one slit up the middle. It's incredibly common and really practical. Finally, the double vent features two slits, one on each side. This allows for a really elegant drape over the seat and makes it super easy to comfortably put your hands in your pockets. Moving back to the front, we've got the pockets. Flat pockets have a matching piece of fabric covering the opening. This is your versatile default choice for daily business. Jetted or basin pockets are just a sleek slit, very formal, mostly meant for tuxedos. Patch pockets look like a completely separate piece of cloth sewn right onto the outside. They're much more casual and sporty. And the welt pocket? That's the small one up on your chest, perfectly designed to hold a pocket square. Moving on to section 2, the button codes, the unwritten rules. This is perhaps the most crucial stuff we'll cover, where we learn the behavioral codes that instantly signal you know exactly what you're doing. Let's look closely at how we fasten single-breasted jackets. For a 2-button jacket, the rule is always, never. You always fasten the top button, and you never fasten the bottom button. For a 3-button jacket, the rule is sometimes, always, never, from top to bottom. The top button is optional, the middle button is always fastened, and again, the bottom button is never fastened. This simple code instantly shows you belong in the room. Okay, here is your golden rule. Unbutton your jacket when you sit down and re-button it when you stand back up. If you sit down while your jacket is fully buttoned, it pulls tightly across your stomach and creates this ugly X strain on the fabric. Over time, that actually ruins the sharp lines of the jacket. Just a quick, confident unbutton as you take your seat makes you look incredibly sharp and, honestly, much more comfortable. You know, the history behind why we never button that bottom button is actually kind of fascinating. It dates back to King Edward VII. The story goes that the king grew a little too stout to comfortably fasten the bottom button of his waistcoat and jacket, and because he was the king, the royal court simply copied him so he wouldn't feel out of place. Then, the rest of the world copied the court. I share this to prove a point. These rules aren't intimidating elitist laws. They're just inherited human habits. There's no mystery here, just a tradition we can easily learn and use to our advantage. Section 3. Styles and Regional Cuts. Finding your silhouette. Understanding how a suit sits on your body allows you to pick a silhouette that flatters your specific build, making you feel your absolute best. The first major style choice is single-breasted versus double-breasted. A single-breasted jacket has one single column of buttons and a narrow overlap of fabric down the front. This is your highly versatile everyday default. A double-breasted jacket, on the other hand, has two parallel columns of buttons and a much wider overlap of fabric that wraps across your torso. Double-breasted jackets are bolder, dressier, and are meant to be kept buttoned up.
Suits also come in 3 broad regional cuts. The American cut features a soft, natural shoulder and a straighter, boxier body. It's incredibly comfortable. The British cut has a more structured, roped shoulder with a slightly nipped-in waist, giving off a very commanding, formal vibe. And the Italian cut uses lightweight fabrics and soft construction for a looser, more relaxed elegance. The key takeaway here? No single cut is best. It is entirely about finding the regional style that flatters you personally.
Let's head into Section 4, Colors for the Suit. These are your foundational choices. When you're building a professional wardrobe for the very first time, you want to keep things incredibly simple, versatile, and highly effective. The foundational colors you absolutely want to prioritize are navy and charcoal gray. Navy is the ultimate standard. It commands respect and looks good on almost everyone. Charcoal is highly versatile and works perfectly in any business setting. And note this very carefully. You want to reserve plain black suits for formal wear, like black tie events or funerals. For your daily professional life, your interviews, and your court appearances, navy and charcoal are your absolute best friends. Finally, Section 5, Suit, Blazer, and Sport Coat, Knowing the Difference. Learning this distinction will prevent the single most common beginner pitfall, which is mixing up these 3 very different garments. Let's make sure you never make this mistake. A suit jacket is made from the exact same cloth as a matching pair of trousers. They are a set. A blazer, on the other hand, is usually a solid color, classically navy blue, and features highly distinct nautical metal buttons, usually either gold or silver. Finally, the sport coat is the most casual of the 3. It usually features a textured or tweed pattern and often has those casual patch pockets we talked about earlier. This brings us to the golden rule of separates. Please don't wear your suit jacket with jeans, because a suit jacket is made of finer, smoother fabric designed to match its exact trousers. Wearing it alone with jeans just makes it look like you lost your pants. Keep the suit together. If you want that sharp jacket and jeans look, you must reach for a blazer or a sport coat. Let's bring all this amazing knowledge together into what we call the first suit formula. If you're going to invest in just one outfit to prepare for any high-stakes moment, this is it. You want a navy blue, single-breasted, 2-button jacket with a notch lapel. That combination is the single highest leverage clothing purchase you can make. It says you're serious, you're respectful, and you are absolutely ready for business. So we've covered the anatomy, the button codes, the cuts, the colors, and the differences in jackets. That fortress of rules, it's completely dismantled. You now know the codes. The only question left is, are you ready to walk into the room with confidence? Because armed with this knowledge, you absolutely belong there. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and here's to your success.